I'm sure you guys have heard of the names Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, Dale Earnhardt Sr., Richard Petty, right? I'm sure that you probably have. Even if you don't follow NASCAR, you know who I'm talking about. This is going to be a series dedicated to those drivers that were around at about the same time in different eras that got overshadowed by those megastars and did not get the attention they deserve. And today, the driver I'm going to talk about is none other than the Rooster, Mr. Ricky Rudd. Now, Ricky Rudd had a very long career. He drove from 1977 up until 2005. But his career started out driving for his dad, Al Rudd, in that number 22 car you see above. And in 1977, he actually won Rookie of the Year driving for his dad. That's pretty cool. Moving on from driving for his dad and then having a little bit of a part-time schedule, Ricky would drive full-time in 1981 permanently, starting his consecutive start streak, earning him the name Iron Man because he did not miss a race from 1981 all the way up until 2005 whenever he retired. Now, if you're looking at this photo and saying, wait, that's the 3 car. Ricky drove the 3 car? Yes, he did, actually. He drove for Richard Childress from 82 to 83 before having to swap with Dale Earnhardt going to Bud Moore in 1984. But through Richard Childress, he actually got his first win at Riverside in 1983. If you want to know more about the swap, listen to an episode of the Dale Jr. Download with Ricky Rudd. It goes into grave detail about what all happened, all the drama and all that saga, because there was a lot, and it's way too much to cover in this little episode we're doing here. Now, I mentioned the nickname Iron Man, and it's because he would do things like this. Ricky actually got into a terrible accident his first year with Bud Moore Racing, driving that 15 car at a super speedway, and they would go on to tape his eyes open the next week just so he could see to drive. And this would actually lead into NASCAR instituting a rule for this, saying that drivers would have to get checked out after races. It was mandatory, and this rule still exists to this day, but it's thanks to Ricky doing crazy things like this. Now, while winning along the way, Ricky would go on to drive for quite a few teams throughout the 80s and the 90s, such as Bud Moore Racing. He would drive for King Racing and then Hendrick Motorsports, where he would actually go on to get his best points finish ever in 1991, finishing second. After a couple more seasons, Hendrick Motorsports and Ricky Rudd split ways, and then we got one of the coolest cars of the 90s because he went and drove for himself. The number 10 Tide car, which he had good success in driving for, Ricky Rudd Racing pretty much. He won the Brickyard 400 and a couple other notable races before going on to drive another cool car. After driving for himself, Ricky would go on to drive the number 28 car for Robert Yates and win his last race at Sonoma, actually, in 2002. And moving on after that, he actually drove for the Wood Brothers, driving the famed number 21 Motorcraft Ford. This guy drove for a lot of teams, but he also had a lot of cool-looking cars. He would win 23 races throughout his career and actually be named as part of NASCAR's 75 Greatest Drivers in 2023. And then the Hall of Fame this year in 2025, Ricky got inducted, which is freaking awesome, and he totally deserves it.